Hello, and welcome to another episode of Enter the Minds of Nadine and Vera podcast.
Hello, everyone. Today, we hope to make you just laugh a little because our subject happens every day. And we're going to call this one Things That Criminals Do That Are Straight Up Stupid.
Exactly. You're going to give us some examples of some that happened in your life, some stories you've heard?
Okay, when I was stationed in Virginia, the story, there was a radio station that would look, you know, broadcast the stupid things that criminals do. And one that stuck out to me was this guy went into a Chinese restaurant and bought some food and then used a check with all this information on it to pay for it. He then to proceed to go out to his car, put his food in it, and come back and rob the Chinese restaurant store. Now, how stupid is that?
Very stupid. Some people just don't think things through before they do it. So today we're just going to be reading some stories from Reddit as well about stupid criminals. So the first story, the title is "The Bank Robber Who Gave His Address." An aspiring bank robber who wore a terrible disguise of sunglasses and socks over his shoes gave the cashier his full name and address half an hour before he attempted to hold up the branch. Dean Smith, then 27, went into his local branch of Barclays in the Welsh village of Treorchy to change his address and spotted the cash in the tills. He returned in his disguise and demanded the money, but fled empty handed when the cashier refused. Police had little difficulty tracking him down. He admitted he had been very stupid and was jailed for 2.5 years for attempted robbery and carrying a bladed weapon in 2014.
Well, personally, I think they should have added an additional 2 years for the stupidity of the whole act.
So you go into your own bank, do a change of address, and then go back in and rob it. So
Wow.
mistake number one, you went to your own bank, you didn't wear a proper disguise, you didn't think
And
it
if you
through.
put socks over your shoes, wouldn't that make it slippery
You would think.
when you run?
I don't get that point.
Well, I have another example I'd like to share. Please explain to me why someone would actually go into a store to rob them and have on the pants that is below their butt and the flip flops, and then attempt to run and get caught because, he's trying to pull up his pants and he got flip flops on. Explain that to me.
He didn't think it through. Another example. Stupidity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, in today's society, back in the day, they didn't have cameras like they do today. The banks may have had cameras, but like if you rob a person's home or car or whatever, someone is going to have a cam. They're going to be recording you with their cell phone,
Of course.
or there are going to be cameras everywhere.
Of course.
So why would they even attempt to rob anyone, especially in daylight?
Well, I've never stolen, and my motto is just don't do something and you won't get caught. Because 9 times out of 10, like you said, that someone has a camera, it's a doorbell ring camera, it's somebody's cell phone, it's somebody's, there's multiple ways of getting caught. So it's
Exactly.
not worth it.
And another stupid thing, okay, this is a true story. Back when I was working, I had a staff member. We had like 7 out of office in different states. So my unit that was in Houston, Texas, one of the staff members stole an American Express card and then went to Walmart and spent $300.
Mm.
$300 with an American Express card. It wasn't discovered that she had stolen the card until 2 weeks later. And that's all she got was $300 worth of merchandise from Walmart.
So what was the end result?
She lost her job and she we pressed charges and whatever, but I don't think she went to jail. I think she got like probation or whatever. But How do you have an American Express that has no limit? You just have to pay whatever you spend at the end of the month and only go to Walmart and spend $300.
But if you go over a certain limit, then it's really
Not, nope, not with American Express. It's no certain. If you got an American Express card, the over the limit will have to be in $100,000.
yeah, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say that the more you spend, I don't know if it's like $5,000 or whatever. Maybe it's 1,000. If you spend over that amount, it's considered a felony
Oh yeah,
versus
over
a misdemeanor.
um
Misdemeanor.
yeah, that's why she didn't go to jail because it's over $500. $500 or more is a felony.
Well, don't quote us on that, but somewhere around there. So it's probably better that she didn't spend more than $300. So it was just stupid from the get go.
Yes, indeed. Is your job worth that?
No.
Wow.
Okay, next story I'm going to read is r/police from Reddit. Not my case. I was at a major case seminar and they profiled this case. Number one, dude walks into a bank. Number two, writes demand letter on the back a copy of his own birth certificate. Number three, was wearing a cutoff t-shirt that showed his tattoos. 4, was wearing gym shorts with one orange sneaker. 5, did this while wearing his ankle monitor. 6, left his ID and demand note in the bank parking lot. 7, passed cops responding to call, got nervous, and started tossing cash out of the window. 8, he did it to prove a point to his girlfriend. His girlfriend's roommate called the cop as soon as he showed up. Number 9, he waived his Miranda rights, taken into custody within 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes. And then 10, he got about $700. This is why they call it stupid.
Well, it sounds like he wanted to go back to jail because if he had an ankle bracelet, someone should have been notified that he was not within his perimeter. But to me, that sounds like he wanted to go back to jail.
Because it tracks you, right? It tracks your location and where you are. So that's like
Exactly. But
putting you
then,
at the right place at the right time. And
if you're on house arrest or probation or whatever, and you break the rules, whether it's you got a weapon or drink alcohol or leave the perimeter, but he robbed, he wanted to go back to jail.
but in this case, there's so many different mistakes. I wonder if it's like a mental does he have like mental issues that he just can't process, he didn't think it through, and that he maybe didn't realize that he was going to get caught, or was it?
Well, let me answer your question with a question. Do you think stupidity, actions like that, is a mental issue?
I mean, it can be, but I guess there's certain levels to it.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I'm just saying sometimes when people do still into this capacity, I just wonder if they just have a process of thinking things through.
So what you think should have happened to him?
Oh, still, he should have went to jail. Definitely. Yeah.
It just sounds more to the story. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to go back to jail. That's what I heard. What you think?
Do you think it was cold that his girlfriend called the police on him once he got back home?
She could have told the man, I just don't want you no more. Because if he was stupid enough to prove a point to her that she knew would send him back to jail,
she wanted him to get caught.
He's not processing. That's all that was.
Yeah.
That was a wild and bizarre breakup. He went back to jail. And maybe she could have been in a situation where she needed him to be sent back to jail to be safe. We don't know the whole full story. That's what I'm saying.
That's a true statement.
Yeah.
Again, back to me not stealing. When I was a teenager, I was, what is it called? Pressure, not pressure, but, called out and was dared. Thank you. I was thinking of the word dared to go into the corner store that we frequent and steal some candy. I went in there and I paid for it, and then I came back out.
And you told your friends that you stole it?
No, I have this integrity issue that was instilled with me from a young age.
And you know what that integrity name is?
What?
Terry and Julie.
Okay.
You were taught better. We were talking about when I was getting my nails done today. Are there any reasons that you can think of that could be justified in stealing? And so we went, through some things, uh, how people do stupid stuff stealing. And I said, well, I don't know, maybe if a person stole a can of soup because they were starving,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you could justify that. And my technician say, nope, that's still stealing. If he was hungry, ask somebody, because you ask enough people, they'll go in the store with you and buy food for you.
Do you really think that somebody will? Like he probably might have
He
to
did,
ask 50 people first.
but you ask, because I don't think you have to ask 50 people. If someone, you see those signs and you want to help people, the people who want to help people, I'm not saying give them cash, but say, okay, he said this guy asked him for $5 to get some food, and he told him, come on, let's go in the store, because he happened to work next to Publix.
Mm-hmm.
And he told the guy, get whatever you want, no matter the amount. The guy got some stuff and he only spent $15.
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell sincerely, he said that he was excited about getting food because he was looking at like some Danish or whatever that would have been like a splur.
Mm-hmm.
And he told him, he said, you can get that,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want.
Well, thank goodness there's good people in the world. But the number one fact is there shouldn't be any hungry people in the world because we have, all this access to food
Food banks,
and it's really sad that there are hungry people. So stealing is not
acceptable.
it's not acceptable, but I can understand in that aspect if you're stealing food to eat from dying. Maybe I'm kind of one of those people that might have looked the other way, to be honest.
And that's because you have a big heart. Stealing is stealing. That was the point that my technician made, because I was leaning your way.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a mother down on my luck and I had two small kids and I just needed a can of ravioli and stole it, it should be looked over. But the truth of the matter is, if you're in a store, you can ask the store owner. You could, you need to work harder at asking and trying to procure food, because we have food banks. We have plenty of people that will help you. But he did say this: the only time he would think stealing would be okay is like if you was in a farm area and they had like an orange tree, an apple tree, peach tree, whatever. It should be okay if you took it off their tree, like a fruit.
Oh, that's stealing
But it's
too.
still
That's
stealing.
someone's property.
Yeah.
They might sell their fruits for money, for a
Yeah.
profit.
hmm
So you just lost them like 10 cents or however much they sell it for. So if you say stealing is stealing, stealing is everything.
That's right. That's
So,
right. Because if it's a farmer and you hungry, you can simply ask.
and they'll probably give it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So have you ever been in that situation where you didn't have any money? Did you ever think about stealing anything in your life?
Nope.
Not even as a kid?
Nope. Never stole. Because my grandmother sit me down at a very early age and she said, two things you will not do. You will not steal and you will not lie.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the one that taught me, that I passed on to you and your brother, that you don't even go in the store with, say, like you hanging out with your girlfriends or whatever, because she told me a story where that happened to her, where she went to the store with some two little other girls and they stole something and put it in her pocket.
Oh, no.
And of course, they caught her with it in her pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And she, they beat you back in them days. She
Mhm.
got the beating of her life, but she didn't really steal it. So she say, you don't go hang out with your friends in the store
Mm-hmm.
when you're young,
Mhm.
because a thief will do that. They will use you to, to bring stuff out, and they think it's funny.
Those are not your friends.
No.
Yeah.
Have you ever stole anything?
No. Never even thought about it. So next story. This is from r/caught stealing. Caught stealing at Petco. stole about $150 to $200 of pet food. An employee came out and started recording us as we drove away. Can they run our plates and get police involved? That's the question.
Yes.
And should they?
Now, read that story again for me.
Stole about $200 of pet food. An employee came out and started recording us as we drove away. Can they run our plates and get police involved?
Of course, that's what they do.
Number one, the pet store probably have cameras of you walking out without paying.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, they came out and recorded their license plate. Yes.
But the thing is, it was a safety issue. You don't run after people because they stole pet food or whatever, because they could have had a weapon and
That is true.
decided to shoot you.
In
Let
a,
them go.
in a workplace, you're not supposed to put yourself in danger.
Exactly.
That's
Because they do have cameras or whatever.
Mhm.
And you know, that's another thing. People record everything. And I just want to know, are people walking around with their camera ready to record? And are they just, just normally recording and happen to catch stuff?
I wonder that too, because some people catch the whole thing from the beginning to the end. Maybe it was like a commotion at the beginning before they, like you see people who were recording police, doing things to people that they shouldn't. Maybe they started the commotion before and then they start recording. But I do wonder that sometimes, how do they get from the beginning and get the whole story and not just part of it?
Not only that, then they just put it on social media.
That's how people get caught too, because people upload videos and people are smart. They can find out who you are. Like people do other people and,
Now, I may be wrong, but in a legal realm, if someone put that information on Facebook, it may fall to the favor of the person that actually committed the crime. Because you could say that the jurors were prejudiced about what they saw.
Mhm.
It can't be used in the court of law because you're not supposed to record people without their permission. There's so many legal realms that you may, cause. So it's really this social media stuff. Give it directly to the investigators or policemen or whatever, but I don't think it's right to just go straight to the social media platform.
I need people bring it to the social media platform so it can be widely distributed and so people can have reactions about what is going on.
So they can go viral.
I mean, to go viral, yes, but also to just share the story of, in certain cases, the injustice of what's going on. And
It sounds like a Karen to me.
okay, that's what I don't know what to say to that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, the next story. Police called me about shoplifting and told me to come in and sign for a ticket. So about a week ago, I went into a Walmart and stole around $150 worth of merchandise. On the way out of the store, a guy started yelling and stopped the dude next to me, and I just kept walking to my truck. I thought I was good, but yesterday the cops called me and told me they had me on video and told me to come in and sign for the ticket. Do I have to go down there? What should I do? I've never been in this situation before.
He should call a lawyer.
Exactly.
Because you don't sign a ticket for stealing. They were going to arrest him when he got there. And by him going in some way, he was admitting that he actually did the crime.
So that was one of the responses. It says you should contact a criminal defense attorney and do what they say.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says you are under no obligation to surrender to the police or acknowledge the citation of shoplifting. The police could investigate the effort to obtain an arrest warrant based only on the video and witness evidence they have. So it says, what should I do? Do not answer any questions from the police or people claiming to be police, and do not return to the Walmart. Because sometimes people do return to the scene of the crime. So that's not smart either.
Some years ago, this story came back to my mind. This really happened in California somewhere. A group of criminals, fugitives that they had been looking for, was told, hey, you won this large amount of money. Meet on this date at this time at this location.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got there, they were arrested.
I don't get that.
You are a fugitive. You.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you get a call or a letter in the mail saying that you won $50,000. And to claim it, all you got to do is show up at 7299 Highland Road.
So they know there is a chance that they could get caught, but in their mind, there is greed.
Yeah, they didn't think about it. They didn't think it was the police.
Mm-hmm.
They was just more or less, if they're criminal and stealing or whatever, $50,000, they were going to try and get it.
Because the police and the FBI would do whatever it takes to get a criminal if that's who they're seeking
They will lie.
by any means
That's
necessary.
right. And if someone hand you $50,000, the next step is going to be cuffs put on your wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And they caught quite a few fugitives like that. So if you're a thief, I recommend that you don't try to claim free money. Okay?
So this is another stupid one. I got caught stealing at my job. What do I do now? So yeah, I'm in desperate need for money and I tried to steal from my job. They caught me and fired me on the spot. Yes, very dumb of me. I was honest and I did give them the money back. It was only $20. My question is, can they press legal charges? Do I contact the employer and apologize? Or at least answer the phone if he calls? What should I be worried about? I don't have money for anything, no lawyer, not even food. Yes, I'm very stupid and hungry. Also, I was honest, as in, where's the money? I have it right here. So he gave it right back.
Well, the thing is, he stole.
Mhm.
Stealing is stealing. But the comment I like to make is, I know two real life situations where people did that.
Mhm.
Stole, and it was large sum of money. I had to just go to bat with one of my commanders to keep, pleading to keep him from persecuting this soldier who was an officer. And the story is, she was married. So when you're married, you get extra money. I'll put it that way so you understand. They call it BAQ. And she got divorced, but she did not submit paperwork
Mhm.
to stop that extra money from coming.
Mhm.
Now, the administrator in my command told me about it. And she said, "Oh, she's been doing this for 6 months." And I said, "You knew she was doing it? Why didn't you just prepare the paperwork and say, 'Here, sign'?" Did she refuse to sign? She was like, "No, I'm just going to let her dig a ditch."
Mm.
So when it came to light, of course, they wanted to throw a book. It was a large sum of money. They wanted to throw the book at her. And she said, "I have the money in my savings." And she was prepared to send it back to finance. It's a process. And so she gave the money back. But then it was the fact of them trying to say she stole it. I say, first of all, if she go to jail, then the administrator go to jail because she failed to do her job. As administrator, I would not allow someone to collect money that they shouldn't. And if I prepared paperwork and they absolutely had to sign it and they refuse, I would go straight to the commander.
So let me ask you this question. So you said that stealing is unacceptable no matter what. So then why did you go to bat for her? She stole. Did she do it intentionally or was it an honest mistake?
That's just the kind of boss I am. I just felt like she wasn't the only person involved in the situation. It was just, when I find out about it, it was because the administrator was bragging about it because she didn't like her. So I felt like she didn't do her job. And yeah, you should have given it back. But since she had the money to give back, why persecute her? Why kick her
But
out the
wasn't that
military?
still stealing?
It was still stealing. I'm human.
Did
I
you
had a
tell the commander about the administrator and her position?
yeah. That's
Did
how I
she get
saved
in
her.
trouble?
Neither one got in trouble because I saved her by letting him know that, you know, people fail. Matter of fact, commanders are supposed to look at all pay reports, every little line. So you can blame the commander, the administrator. You see what I'm saying? So
So you stand by that you, in certain cases,
people should do their job.
people should do their job, but you're saying in certain circumstances it's okay to not be punished.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I saved her.
Okay.
And another example was, you know how you travel and you have to do paperwork?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I processed travel pay. And if I don't go on a mission, I did not ask anyone, did you drive or were you a passenger? They turn in their voucher. I process it for them.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go on a mission, I know who drove and who didn't, right?
Exactly.
In this one particular case, I didn't go on the mission, but this person made an effort, you know, came to me and say, if so-and-so put down she drove, she didn't, I was the driver. I said, okay, thank you for letting me know. So sure enough, this person prepared her voucher as if she was a passenger. And I said, ma'am, you need to change that because you were a passenger,
Not the driver.
not the driver.
Mm-hmm.
Only the driver get mileage.
Mm-hmm.
And so she got flipped with me. You wasn't there. I drove. I said, okay. What did I do? I went straight to the commander and had her called on the carpet is what we called. So I'm not about people stealing, but I don't go searching to see who's stealing. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should have been trying to verify all that, whether I went on a mission or not, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come tell me someone did not drive, then it's my obligation to investigate.
So have you ever been in a situation where two different people submitted that they drove to get the extra money, and then you have to figure out which one actually drove?
I don't have to figure out. You ask them.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter. Say I had authorization to drive my car
Mm-hmm.
and you are my passenger.
Mm-hmm.
You could drive. You can help me drive.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the one who is authorized. So it's a really simple process. I really don't have to figure out anything
Mhm.
because on the orders, this person is authorized, POV, and you're not. So that's who get the money. You could drive all you want. It could be your car. Now, if you let someone use you like that, that's on you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is my last Reddit story that I have. It says my friend was stupid and got caught shoplifting at Costco. Learn from his mistake. My buddy was looking for some way to get a handle and tried to steal from Costco. I guess he got away with it the first few times he tried, but he was caught this time. He was charged with shoplifting and minor possession. Now he is facing possible expulsion and has to meet with the school and hope they pity him. I know that he is getting what is coming to him and that many of you are smarter and above shoplifting for alcohol. But I hear a lot of students bragging about how they steal alcohol and how easy it is. I just want to let you know that I used to work at Kmart and I have worked with loss prevention there. They can see a lot more than you know. And you are not as sneaky as you think you are. They are trained to and will catch you. Sorry for the rant. My friend is a good guy and he's smart, but it sucks to see him ruin his life over a handle of a store brand vodka. Don't ruin your life over something like this. I like that. Don't ruin your life over something stupid.
That's great advice. And they want to say, okay, I'm in college. This is my time to live. And then they wake up one day and they ruin their life over stupid stuff.
Because what you do when you're young can follow you in your career later on in life.
It does.
Because military, background check. I work for the state, background check. So what you do at any point in your life can affect you later on in life.
Even when you're a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
Because when I first joined the military, I was in military intelligence branch. And when they were doing my background, they talked to about 10 people in Pelham, Georgia
Mm-hmm.
about me. And those people could have, basically like what type of child she was, this or that. I didn't really have no history, like I didn't have no records or anything. But if you go visit this old lady that lived next door, and the one on the right, the one on the left, the one in the front,
Mm-hmm.
and the one down the street, all tell you that she was still, she was, whatever. I could have not gotten my top secret clearance.
Exactly. So we want to hear your stories. Do you have any stories of stupid people caught stealing? So if you have any of those stories, please send them to us. You can send them to our email, Facebook, or just comment below under the YouTube page.
Did I mention the pants below the butt and the flip flops? Yeah.
You did.
I recommend you don't do that.
Yeah. So you want to read your quote?
Okay, you know what? In a world of thieves, the only final sin is stupidity. And this was Hunter Thompson who's quoted his quote. And I tell you this, think before you do anything. And if you're hungry, ask people for food.
Exactly.
And if you want alcohol for cash, just ask them, say, hey, I want to get some alcohol. If it's real cold in the winter, I might give you some cash because I know it'll help keep you warm.
Some people like honesty.
Honesty is the policy with me.
Mhm.
You tell me the truth, you might be able to get more out of me.
That is true. And don't be stupid. Don't steal. Ask for help if you need it. Ask for resources.
And you know what? We're not judging. We know people have stolen, especially when you're young. It could be a piece of gum or a quarter or whatever. Just saying to you that think before you act because you don't want to do something to ruin your life over penny ante. Because it will.
What is penny ante?
Just petty little stuff. It ain't worth a dime.
Okay.
It's
I
a
like
game.
that.
It's a game that we play cards with. You put pennies in and then it go up to a quarter.
I like it.
Yeah, it's called penny ante.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Enter the Minds of Nadine and Vera podcast. Please leave your comments below. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And you know what? We need you to help us come up with different things that we can talk about. Please help us. Give us some ideas. And remember, if you would like to be on this podcast, just let us know. It's done. Okay? And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for the support. Bye.
Bye-bye.